What's interesting with the nations, I was in Ireland just last week. I spent a week in Dublin, and because perhaps it's a small country, a very small country, Dublin is a small city. It's always changed, and it's gone through huge shifts, even in the time that I've known it. When I first went to Dublin in the late 1980s, it was quite a poor city, really, and very wealthy. And then there's a big crash, and now there's been a second wave, slightly more stable wealth, huge amounts of immigration, lots of building. The city's changed quickly. It's become almost not unrecognizable, but there's some. It was hard for me. I feel like the Dublin that I knew
is different,
and it's not gone, but it's changed so much that I found myself mourning it, feeling quite emotional about that, and.
Generation code.
Yeah. They do. But it's funny because you sort of love somewhere. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like loving someone and seeing them change over the years. It's poignant. It's moving, if nothing else. So yeah, the terrible beauty of the Irish nation, I'd say, is still kind of evolving. It's still up for grabs. Of course, Britain's changed, but I don't feel that way about it. I mean, maybe because I know it. So there's something about these like ancient.
Yeah, because you stay inside in one place all the time, so probably it's changing a lot, but you can't really feel if it's changes day by day. But when you haven't been somewhere for a long time and suddenly back,
that's true. And also, I mean, I guess you could say the same about where we are. That I'm sure people also in this area perceive that too. But there is something about the smallness of Ireland. I mean. Yeah, and now there may be further changes coming economically, so it's always moving. Trying to find out what it means to be an Irish nation, and it's once the Civil War settled, there was a long period, which I think most Irish people would now think of as being a pretty grim period under Eamon de Valera, who was also a warrior in the Easter Rising. And became the Prime Minister, and I think history would largely judge him as being a very impressive leader and a very skillful leader. But I think a lot of what went on in Ireland at that time is now considered to be not good. So in answer to your question, I guess Yeats was clever enough to perceive all that. But it is a terrible beauty, right? It's not a terrible. Awful nightmare.
No.
Should we read the opening stanza?
Yes.
So, which I think is difficult. So I have met them at close of day, coming with vivid faces from counter or desk among grey 18th-century houses. I have passed with a nod of the head, or polite, meaningless words, or have lingered a while and said polite, meaningless words, and thought before I had done of a mocking tale or a jibe to please a companion around the fire at the club, being certain that they and I but lived where motley is worn. All changed. What are the obscurities? So when close reading, and this is actually very similar to the process of acting, one needs to be aware and attentive to the places where things don't make sense.
What is motley?
Good. Yeah, I think that's the first question, isn't it? It's quite common. So motley is motley. You know the word, I would say.
What is motley?
It's probably a word you've heard before from As You Like It.
Well.
A fool, I met a fool in the forest. So when Jacques meets Touchstone the clown, he talks about him saying a suit of motley is the only wear. Motley is the clothing of fools and clowns.
Is the clothes of fools and clowns?
Yeah.
You mean like that we're curious outfit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of multicolored. So the character of Yeats in the poem thinks he lives somewhere which is foolish.
Yeah.
But it's not. Now it's changed. So this is a description of a person, I suppose, just living in the city, living a life which is pleasant but ignorant or innocent.
Innocent. Not really aware of the changes.
Not really aware of the change.
Outside.
Yeah.